आज की हस्ती जो आली सिफात, आली नसब, आली मुकाम, आली जनाब डॉक्टर सैयद आसिफ कादरी। अमेरिका में प्रेसिडेंशियल अवार्ड मिलना ये बड़ी बात है।
He will teach me English for ₹1 a month. I was so impressed by this doctor, tall guy with a stethoscope. I would come and open a big medical center here. It is as big a dream as an upper one. I had the 19th position in FSC, world famous Library of Congress.
Library of Congress.
And to have a book in Library of Congress is a big deal. You could say as a charity because we don't charge people over there.
Okay.
Yeah. Our lifestyle is such. We are misfits there.
We welcome Dr. Syed Asif Qadri on the podcast. Let's bridge the gap.
Let's Bridge the Gap, a social outreach initiative by Dr. Ishrat Shakeel.
Welcome, sir. So nice of you. You are in my studio this time. Assalamualaikum, Bhagi ji. Thank you, sir, for accepting my invitation.
It's a big pleasure. I'm so proud of you and what you're doing. That's very nice. So, and I'm honored.
I was eagerly waiting for your arrival. मोअज़्ज़ज़ नाज़रीन व हाज़रीन, अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। आज के जो हमारे मेहमान हैं, जो आली सिफात, आली नसब, आली मुकाम, आली जनाब डॉक्टर सैयद आसिफ कादरी। He has been abroad working in Washington this time, but वो जन्म में एक बारामुल्ला के एक छोटे से गांव जिसका नाम है उटकू शेखपुरा में, वहां से इन्होंने कैरियर अपना स्टार्ट किया। और कब कैरियर स्टार्ट किया? जब हर तरफ जुल्मात ही जुल्मात है। इट वाज डार्क एवरीवेयर। मैं आपका टाइम ज्यादा नहीं लूंगा क्योंकि मेरे पास जो हस्ती है कि मैं इनके सामने इनको क्वेश्चन पूछूं, वो मेरी बस की बात नहीं है। आई स्ट्रेट वे जस्ट switch over to Dr. Asif साहब. He will just start his life career. कहाँ से आपने स्टार्ट किया, कहाँ जन्मे आप और कहाँ आप गए, क्या कैसी मुश्किलात का सामना करने के बाद you are this time at this elevated position and you are role model for we all people. We refer you and we have been following your steps. I am not how come कितना मैं इसमें कामयाब हूँ, लेकिन जो भी मैं अपने वालिद साहब के बाद जिनके फुट स्टेप्स पर मैं चलने की कोशिश करता हूँ, वो हमारे डॉक्टर आसिफ साहब। Dr. Asif, you can start, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm really honored to be here, to be part of your program. It has been a great pleasure to come back and forth to Sheikhpura. I was born in this small, tiny village long time ago. I still have the vivid images and memories of my childhood, what we used to do with the neighborhood children, and going to the neighborhood school, elementary school, with all kids and having fun and all that. So the childhood was really, interesting. I don't know, it's fascinating, but it was a very free childhood. And still have a lot of memories of that childhood. Going to a primary school in Tarahama, where it was staffed by only one teacher, and we were 2 or 3 students in each class. Anyway, that's a long time ago. And after finishing the primary school, I went to Magam, which is about 3 miles from our place, to start the 6th grade. And there on, I finished my matriculation, 10th grade, from that school, and then went to the SP college to study the pre-med, to become a doctor and all that. During this time, something is very, very important, what happened regarding my father, how visionary he was. My father had a limited education, but he always wanted us, all the children, to have as best as top class education as possible. He never ever relented in that idea and all that. To just give an example how keen he was, how he wanted us to succeed. Those days, English was not taught in the primary school. And believe it or not, he talked to my primary school teacher And they decided that he will teach me English for 1 rupee a month.
Okay.
And by the time I finished the primary school, I had already finished the first English textbook, which we started in Magam High School. This gave me a tremendous edge
Okay.
as compared to other students, because I had already almost mastered English language, mastered in the sense at the time what was available, and that edge continued throughout my career. You know, I cannot understand, I cannot really comprehend the vision of my father, although as you know that he was born here and things like that, but nonetheless he had a vision as to where we should go. Not only me, my other siblings, exactly the same attitude, exactly the same plans, and it was up to us how we wanted to do what we wanted to do and all that. But as far as he was concerned, he will never relented on educating us.
Okay.
Yeah.
From SP College onwards, you just went to the medical college.
Well,
Were there any early influences in your family that steered you towards science or medicine?
so I say
Early influences, जिसकी वजह से आपने choose किया कि चल let me choose this medicine or that.
well, it is quite an incident. I don't know what was it to be a doctor or what it to be a medical student and all that. My father had a pharmacy shop in Magam,
Okay.
and one day I got sick, and he took me to the doctor next door in the hospital. The doctor saw me, and my father was holding me, and I was so impressed by this doctor, tall guy with a stethoscope and a long white coat. You won't believe it. That's the time I decided that I want to be a doctor.
That is why I asked you this question.
That is the reason, that's the time I wanted to be a doctor. And believe it or not, with the help of God and Almighty and all that, I eventually succeeded to be a doctor.
Can you remember the year you entered into the medical college?
I entered in the medical college in July of 1962.
1960. I was not born that time.
Yeah, because you had to have a two years pre-med. Okay. Those were in SP college, 60 and 62. When I finished 62, then I was admitted to medical college. See, the medical college admission was not just a random thing. You had to have a high score in your pre-med and all that. Otherwise, you could not enter the medical school. Okay. And whatever it was that I had worked hard, and I had a 19th position in FSC, which guaranteed me admission in the medical school.
Oh. Right. Can you name a few guys or few colleagues of yours who were your batchmates that time, so that the people may know the era जिस वक्त डॉक्टर साहब ने MBBS किया है?
In the SP college, I still remember some of the students. The guys who were with me in SP college, they were all from Islamia High School and from good families, educated families. Believe it or not, none of them became a doctor.
Okay.
It was, I don't know why, but subsequently I went to the medical college, and first year, and it was very interesting, and some of the students, some of my fellows at the time, we still are friends. Namely, one of the top guys you might know, he has made an international name, Dr. Mohammed Sultan Kuru. He was my class fellow. Actually, we lived in the same hostel together and all that, So there's another guy, his name was Ghulam Nabi Lone. He was accidentally, he died. And there were some other similar students like Rauf Mir and
Dr. Abdul from Bandagam.
Abdul Ahad from Bandagam. Unfortunately, he had an accident and all that. And as I said, Dr. Mohammed Sultan, Ghulam Nabi Lone from Sopur, and of course, Mohammed Sultan Kuru. Those were my colleagues. Other colleagues were from well-known families like Nisam al-Bakshi. He was a nephew to Ghulam Muhammad Bakshi, the ex-prime minister. Those were my class fellows at the moment, at that time.
So it would have been very hard, while going from, you were having a village background, then going to the medical college. Did you ever feel any inhibition while interacting with the fellows of high elite class?
Believe it or not, there was an inhibition, because you were participating, working day and night in the medical school with the people like Nisar Ahmad Bakshi and similar other very, very rich people. But I really did not pay much attention to that. My aim was get to the medical college. That was the idea. So, and I did not pay any attention to those things. Just kept my stayed focused at what I had to do.
After completion of your graduation, you just joined the state services. I think as the patients of that era do still come to you.
Right. After finishing my medical college, and I did 1 year of house job. Then I was appointed as an instructor in the Department of Physiology in the same medical school.
Okay.
At that time, our principal was Dr. Colonel Cole. Idea was that I will start my post-graduation there. But due to some politics, Dr. Nasir came onto the scene, and he sent me to the medical college for temporary use. But it's a long story. I eventually I was teaching the physiology and all that. I decided, look, if I had to become a teacher, teach physiology, I should have gone done an MA and all that.
Yeah.
Why should I have gone for doing a medical school? I said, this is not what I wanted to do. I resigned.
Okay.
No, I did not resign. I went to the director of medical services, Colonel Cole, who knew me. And I told him, look, this is not what I want to do, and I need to get out of it and transfer me somewhere else. And I was transferred to a nearby village called the Cog. As a medical officer at that time. And it had a small dispensary.
I was posted at Cog, and the people of that area just started telling me that, do you know Dr. Asif? Yeah. I told them, yes, I know him, he is my role model. तो उस वक्त के पेशेंट थे, वो बूढ़े, वो बोलते थे उन्होंने हमें ट्रीटमेंट किया था अलॉन्ग बैक इन 1965 या 68 ऐसा कुछ था. सो डॉक्टर आसिफ साहब उस वक्त बहुत मशहूर मौलिज रहे, लेकिन बाद में अपने यू जस्ट स्विच्ड ओवर टू यूके. इस वक्त भी इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू जस्ट थिंक अबाउट.
It is just a coincidence. At the same time, when I was at COG, I was practicing at my father's pharmacy in Chandelora. While practicing in Chandelora, I used to see a lot of patients. Believe me, there were so many patients, I did not know what was wrong with them, literally.
Okay.
And other things were common which I treated. I said, no, if I had to be a doctor, this is not how I should be.
Yeah.
This is not right. I got to do something else.
Okay.
And one thing led to the other, and eventually resulted in me leaving Kashmir, going to UK for higher education, so that I can come back and practice medicine and all that.
Okay. Yeah. You did PG there? Yeah.
I did. There was 4 years of residency over there.
Okay.
There was no PG. Yes, there was a residency program. You do the residency, then take an exam, and then you come back where you want to go. And from there, we did not come back to Kashmir. Although I badly wanted to come back to Kashmir, I was always aware of that. Kashmir was the place who brought me up, made me a doctor, and gave me everything what I wanted to be my doctor. And once I became a doctor, I just left. And
so that realization,
it was a bad feeling. Okay. But the problem was, at that time, there were opportunities in Kashmir were equal to nothing. So there was no point, no reason to come back to Kashmir.
Then
I had to stay.
Then from UK, after completion of that residency, you shifted over to Washington DC.
Well, what happened that at that time the question was, what do I do? I finished the training and all that.
You went to Washington DC. That time you were alone or you were married that time?
I was actually married. Okay. The reason I went to the America, this is
to whom you got married?
Okay,
to whom you got?
I got married to a very beautiful and nice person. Her name is Sapia, who is sitting around here. Actually, I give her a lot of credit. I'm not just praising her. Honestly, sincerely, I give her a lot of credit for my success.
Okay.
As you know, behind every successful man, there's a woman. That exactly holds true for me.
Definitely, it is worth praising. She is worth praising because leaving everything, her siblings, her parents, her every relatives over here, just for the sake of your career and your advancement.
You have no idea how tough it was for her. It was very tough for her mother to let her go.
Okay.
She was
the only. I think she was the only daughter among us four brothers.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. She wanted her to get married in a place where she could visit her every day. But she doesn't realize when she got married, she visited her 4 years after. She did not see her 4 years for that time. These things happen. Who knows what happened next?
Our Babiji hails from Otinu. Watino, I think.
Watno.
Watino.
Yeah.
That is just near Tangmak. Very good family, having 4 brothers and a big dynasty. And जैसे डॉक्टर साहब बोल रहे हैं कि उन्होंने उस वक्त कुर्बानी दी इनकी मदर ने, क्योंकि she was the only daughter, कि इन्होंने छोड़ दिया कि चलो डॉक्टर साहब के साथ चले. Hats off to you, भाभी जी, hats off to you. तो उसके बाद आप वाशिंगटन.
I don't think it's relevant to say, how we got married and how we did not know each other, although our families knew each other for generations, from Makbul Sahab onwards, her grandmother, all that, but we did not know each other. Long story how we got married, and eventually, so that
you are now settled in Washington DC.
I'm settling. It's called the state is called the Maryland.
Okay.
The city is called the Silver Spring, which is 20 miles from the White House. From the Washington DC.
And क्या मसरूफियात रहती है आपको वहाँ पर?
Initially, it was just getting training. Once I finished my training, it was about 3 years of training. And then I specialized in cardiology.
Cardiology, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once I finished cardiology, I started my own practice over there as a cardiologist.
Okay.
And I practiced for 22 years.
Okay.
So during that time, while I was practicing, I was involved in a Muslim community center, which is a community center where we lived.
Okay.
And I was a member of the board of directors and all that. And I used to see a lot of patients in my clinic who were either parents or brothers of American citizens and all that, but had no insurance and all that. I would treat them free. But it started to take a toll on my practice. So I said, I need to do this somewhere else. And I talked, as I say, I was involved in the community center. I talked to the directors over there. I said, look, this is what I want to do. I need a space where I can see all these patients. It's a long story, but it took a lot of maneuvering, and they allowed me to start the practice over there.
Okay.
In a very small area, there was one room where I started my practice. And
the patients were there, were not charged.
Patients were there. The problem was that it took very, very short time to expand beyond their imaginations. That means there was tremendous need for that.
Scope.
Once that happened, they said, you do whatever you want to do. You practice, you arrange it, whatever. And it became a very well established clinic, and it is still present there. The clinic has all the subspecialties on the floor. It is open 7 days a week. It has a full dental clinic. We see a lot of patients each day.
Can we describe it as a charity hospital?
You could say as a charity because we don't charge people over there.
Okay.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that how do you survive then?
Without charge.
The reason they survived, there were many Kashmiri doctors over there. I told them, look, this is what I want to do. And without any reluctance, everybody came and pitched in. Okay. They started working with me.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
And once we got established, the local government came to know about us. And they came and visited us. It was beyond their comprehension that anything like that would be done on our own, without us, anybody. There was no stopping after that. They just threw money on us.
The government over there has acknowledged your service.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have. I don't want to praise myself. I have been awarded a lot of awards and all that.
Presidential type award.
Right, for the service I did.
जो डॉक्टर साहब है उनको अमेरिका में presidential award मिला है for establishing the first of its kind charity hospital wherein डॉक्टर साहब free of cost करते थे उन इंडियंस और उन एशियंस का ट्रीटमेंट जिनके पास इंश्योरेंस नहीं हुआ करता था. तो ये गवर्नमेंट वहां आई, उन्होंने वो they just acknowledged their service, and he has been praised and he has been acknowledged and awarded so many times. I'm really proud of you, sir, as a Kashmiri, and you have taken care of. I think these are the genes from your mother, and she would just I cannot describe your mother. These are the hard genes which are in you.
I tell you one thing, what she wanted to do. One day, I think when I had done the FSC and all that, and I came back home with the results and all that, and she was sitting in front of the dawn, cooking the meals and all that. I straight went to her. I had passed the FSC and all that. I went to see her. I said, I passed the exam. You know what she said? I said, you're kidding. I had no doubt you'll pass. But tell me one thing, are you going to be a doctor? These were her words.
तो ये उनका ख्वाब था.
That was her vision.
These are the things where you can be a reference for others. There are persons who are working living for yourself, living for your family is not a big thing. Thinking and living for others, that is a great thing. And taking care of that too in that most busy city or more advanced city wherein there are not the persons who can take care of the poor people. It is really, really.
That was the time. Ours was the only house where people went to the school and all that. Because the times were like that. Although the things have changed, So when I see around me, it doesn't look like the same Sheikhpura and same Witiko, same Tarhama, which I left, where I was the only person. Ours was the only family who went to the school, who were educated and all that.
Okay. While comparing your that early days of your practice, wherein you are practicing medicine at Khag, आपको कैसा लग रहा है इस वक्त जब आप अमेरिका से आ रहे हैं तो वहाँ का सेटअप और यहाँ का सेटअप is there any मतलब you may be finding it is
there is no comparison.
There is no comparison.
Absolutely no comparison. In Khag, you had to work with what you had. Basically, you had nothing. There was one pharmacy, and government will give you some medications. And those medications, there are so many people. Who do you want to give it to them? So we decided, okay, the people who cannot just afford it, we'll give it to them. Basically, it was nothing. We did our best what we could do with what we had. But it was the limited because the setup was like that. The Kashmir government was like that. It is not that only that place, but the whole thing, it was all in the beginning and evolution and all that. Well, the same Khag right now, if you go there, it is not the same place. It's a huge medical center. There are 10 doctors working there. It's amazing.
But it was that time.
I recently visited there. I could not believe my eyes that it's the same Khag what I left. Seeing that how it had advanced and all that. So
there are doctors who are coming back and just starting their clinics were there, जैसे डॉक्टर खूर. तो आपने इस लाइन पर कभी सोचा कि यहाँ पर करेंगे कुछ
वापस आने के
लिए कभी सोचा था कि नहीं?
Oh, definitely. When I finished my training and all that, I definitely wanted to come back. Because this, as I said, we became doctors. Our government did everything for us. When we became doctors, we left. It was always a burning desire to go back home and serve your own people. But when you are ready, you are serving someone else. And the only way I could kind of calm myself down, calm my nerves or consciousness down, that doesn't matter where you are. All human beings are same. Whether you are in America or whether you're in Kashmir, it does not matter. As long as you serve the community, as long as you serve the people, that's what matters. Doesn't matter where you are. And that was a big consolation. After that, I did not start feeling, guilty about that. Look, who I was, and I was a doctor, and my country did so much for me, and I'm serving somewhere else. It does not matter. To God, all human beings are same. Doesn't matter where you are.
Kashmiris are usually known to be homesick, very much homesick. Once we move outside tunnel rather, we start missing our homeland. And did you ever?
Oh yeah, the homesickness there. We always missed our home, missed our brothers and whole family and all that. It's always, doesn't matter what. That's always there. That does not go away.
You have, while being away, you have been taking care of your siblings who are here. You are just there is a big role in shaping their career. It is you, because of you took care of them.
My father had a huge family, and all I could do when I was here or abroad, make sure my siblings get good education and all that. But it was up to them. They have to work hard and to make something out of that. Thank God they utilized the opportunities and did make their lives stable and advanced. It doesn't have to be a doctor or engineer and all that, but they made their careers, and they're all retired by now. But that's the way it was, So.
ये जो साइन खतर फख्र को मुकाम के डॉक्टर साहब जो यम साथ ये MBBS करित पत PG कोर्क यूनाइटेड किंगडम से पत वही वाशिंगटन DC या मैरीलैंड में वहाँ भी उन्होंने अपना लोहा मनवाया. Yus nu tati concept was it is advanced country mans yman gariban hun tu gos ka ya se चार करन wol asun tihund gos ka caretaker asun फिर डॉक्टर आसिफ की सूरत में एक फरिश्ता बन के आ गए उन लोगों के लिए यम जन तति अनइंश्योर्ड और अनइंश्योर्ड पेशेंट्स का ट्रीटमेंट करना वहाँ बहुत मुश्किल और बहुत कॉस्टली हुआ करता है। तो इन्होंने एक मेडिकल कम्युनिटी सेंटर वहाँ खोल दिया है। जो फाउंडर मेंबर है उसके और इस वक्त डायरेक्टर भी है उस मेडिकल कम्युनिटी सेंटर के, वहाँ ये फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट ट्रीटमेंट करते हैं। हिज सर्विसेज हैव बीन एक्नॉलेज्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट ओवर देयर। इनके प्रेसिडेंशियल अवार्ड्स मिले। अमेरिका में प्रेसिडेंशियल अवार्ड मिलना ये बड़ी बात है। अल्लाह करे कि हमारे जितने भी डॉक्टर्स हैं वो इस स्पिरिट और इस जज्बे के साथ काम करें और यहाँ भी लोगों की खिदमत करें। अल्लाह आपकी ये खिदमत और आपकी ये मेहनत कबूल फरमाए। उम्मीद है कि आप हमारे दिलों में हमेशा है और हम चाहते कि अगर आप यहाँ आते, क्या वजह है कि आप यहाँ नहीं सोचते हैं कुछ काम करने के लिए?
It's kind of earlier one कि ये जो मैं बड़ा अफसोस कि वो बने से डॉक्टर पन्ने कंट्री बनानस बड़ा डॉक्टर तो मगर बहुत नजर दिस में खबर कहते ये जो साक अफसोस कि वह चुस्ने हेल्प न पॉसिबल गए ये ती पन्ने लोगन खदमत करे ये जो वजह कि वो न यथान मगर सर्कमस्टांसेस आसन ति कि बह यम तो कर कम ये विद द रिजल्ट गए एंड अप तती तो तती कर मगर एज आई सेड अर्लियर कि खुदायस नश प्रत कह बंद सेम तस मज कहें ते फर्क चाहे अमेरिका मज करो लुकन खदमत या ये करो मज खदमत खुदायस नश प्रत कह बंद टीम एज लॉन्ग एज कि लुकन खदमत करो सह इम्पार्टेंट।
What impact do you have? कुछ मतलब कोई ऐसा काम है जो आप चाहते थे करना लेकिन मिडवे रुक गया हो?
It is as big a dream as an upperword. You know what I really wanted to do, or even want to do, if I could, I would come and open a big medical center here.
Okay.
And free of cost, and which will be equipped, which could be considered as one of the top institutions in Kashmir and India. It is, as I said, as big a dream as an upperword.
Okay.
How it is possible, God only knows. Probably. I'm getting old. But who knows?
But your guidance, your counseling can be a you can be a torch bearer for we all, and you are torch bearer for we all. You have some literature contribution है आपकी जिसमें आपने अपनी लाइफ हिस्ट्री के बारे में एक किताब भी लिखी है और वो है मेरी कहानी। मेरी कहानी है ये इनकी ऑटोबायोग्राफी जो अपनी तमाम हिस्ट्री तमाम स्टोरी बचपन से लेके आज तक लिखते हैं। ये इसमें कलमबंद हुई है फॉर नाजरीन। ये they can go to this book, they can, it is online also available now.
Right.
It is online available. You can go, you can just go through the hardships the Dr. Saab has faced while pursuing his dream. In addition, Dr. Saab ने एक जो जिसके बारे में एक पूरा मैंने एक एपिसोड बनाया था, प्रोफेसर सईद गुलाम मोहिद्दीन मेरे वालिद साहब हैं, उनके लिए अपने देखे remembering your ancestors, that is good thing, that keeps you carrying your civilization आगे बढ़ जाती है। इनके एंसेस्टर रहे हैं मकबूल साहब मरहूम रहमतुल्लाह अलैह, बहुत बड़े सूफी सेंट रहे हैं। उनकी किताब इन्होंने कलमबंद करवाई और ये प्रोफेसर सईद गुलाम मोहिद्दीन हबीब साहब ने, लेकिन इनकी काविशों और बाबी जी की वजह से ये मंजर आम पर आई। बिग हैट एंड बिग क्लैप्स, you can be, it can be, this is a record, this is a tremendous work you have carried, क्योंकि ancestors को याद करना that is a big thing। आपका और बाबी जी का इसमें बहुत बड़ा रोल है। अल्लाह आपको ये इसका अजर दे यहाँ भी और रहती दुनिया तक आपको अजर मिलता रहे। और उसके बाद
अक्सर में आत किताब में लोग मानो कि ये चीज ना अम किस्म की किताब आसान ये बड़ बड़ चीज आसान तसे वर्ल्ड फेमस लाइब्रेरी ऑफ कांग्रेस and to have a book in Library of Congress is a big deal.
Okay.
And I had some friends over there, and this book is in the Library of Congress. It has an ISB number. It has an ISB number, everything.
Okay.
As far as I remember. It is in the Library of Congress.
It is
It is there.
ये तो बजात खुद जो एजाज लाइब्रेरी ऑफ कांग्रेस में ये किताब रहना और हमारे सूफी सेंट जो उनके परदादा रहे हैं उनके बारे में उनकी सर्विसों को एक्नॉलेज करना, इट इज अ ग्रेट थिंग। आज तो अपने बच्चे अपने बाप को याद नहीं करते, अपने परदादा को याद किया और किताबी शक्ल और इनके लिए इनके जो मुसन्निफ है जिन्होंने ये लिखी प्रोफेसर सईद गुलाम मोहिउद्दीन हबीब साहब के लिए भी दुआ में याद रखे। अल्लाह आपकी कोशिश और आपकी ये जो मेहनत की है रंग लाए। तो उसके बाद जो है कि आपके व्हाट इज अबाउट योर दिस ऑटोबायोग्राफी, इसमें जो आपने
The question was, I have two daughters, Shireen and Urfa,
okay.
and they know all about me. The question was, how about our grandchildren? It's like Timan Kuswani Dele. Shireen to Urfa Hekhen Timan Pura Potel Sir story when it came. That was the incentive to
For the information of Nazreen, डॉक्टर साहब की दो बेटियां हैं, शीरीन एंड उर्फा। तो शीरीन एंड उर्फा दे आर सेटल्ड इन यूएसए। मुझे एक आई फील एस्टोनिश्ड, आई सरप्राइज्ड, व्हाई डिड नॉट दे ऑफ दिस मेडिकल लाइन? इज इट बिकॉज ऑफ सीइंग योर बिजी शेड्यूल 24 hours busy, that is why they
Ele be practice was karan tim zai. Yeli be Ivan was kaam pe timashan gitasan.
okay.
Yeli be subas nero na asan timashan tishan. We would not see each other because it was such a busy life schedule. There was no family life. We could not balance it together. This is a story with all outside, the foreign doctors over there. Insecurity and not to be able to balance everything else. That is one of the reasons I very much wanted them to be doctors, both of them. You don't force your children to do what you want them to do. You give them the best possible education, let them decide what they wanted to do. And that's exactly what happened. Although they were scared of my lifestyle, although they would have been good doctors, particularly Urfa would have been a best possible doctor because the compassion she has, but because what she saw, what I was going through, she did not want to have that kind of lifestyle.
So Urfa and Shireen, what is Shireen doing?
Shireen has done a lot of things, but right now she has her own business.
Okay.
And it's very complicated, but she was working for one of the top companies called the Goldman Sachs. And she got initial training over there. And once she was there for a long time, then she split and started her own business.
And about Urfa?
Urfa is working for the government. She worked for the USA State Department.
Okay.
She is a diplomat, foreign service diplomat over there.
हमारे लिए तो खुशकिस्मती और फख्र का मुकाम है कि हमारी बेटी इस वक्त डिप्लोमेट है फ्रॉम ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ अमेरिका। अमेरिका में वो तो that is a big post.
It's interesting to know when she applied for interview.
Okay.
There were 200 candidates for interview. Out of 200 candidates, 100 were selected. Out of 100 selected, eventually 4 were selected, and she was one of the 4.
Good.
To get this.
तो आपकी जो मेहनत है वो तो रंग लाई।
I think it was we created the mahol ke Timo was already decide korman. Yeah, phone more to doctor Mishwari Aponsa. Timo couldn't that dependent. They decided to make their own lives, and they have made their own lives. Never depended upon who I was and what I was.
आपके लाइफ हिस्ट्री सुन के तो मतलब आंखें नम हो जाती है और इमोशनल बन जाता हूँ मैं कि ऐसे फैमिली से इस बैकग्राउंड से फिर इतना ऊंचा चले गए। कुछ है आपको कि जो करना था जो आप नहीं कर सके?
Like what? Anything in particular?
मतलब मेडिकल साइड में तो यू आर सेटिस्फाइड। तो या मतलब ऐसी कोई तड़प रहती है दिल में कि मुझे ये करना था, ये नहीं कर पाया मैं?
I still wanted to open a huge medical center.
I am sure that too will be carried by you, provided Bhabiji will permit it.
Oh, she will permit it, all right.
We are with you. We are with you. We will serve the community over here.
But that is as big a dream as upward. I don't know how that can happen. Things happen. You never know. You never know how things can happen.
How do you spend time this time? You are
in Kashmir?
While being
over there?
You are not
once I retired, as I said, my life was very, very busy. I retired, and I did not fully retire. I still run that clinic and all that. For my regular practice, I retired. What I do, after my breakfast, I go to gym and
Okay.
exercise for an hour or so, and then come back home and do whatever I have to do. Then I have certain things I spare time. Sometimes I attend conference and all that, but I play a lot of golf,
Okay.
so I go and play golf with my friends and all that, at least 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's how I
You have been always connected with your roots. कभी साल में तो एक बार आ जाते हैं, कभी 2 साल, लेकिन जब आप बोलते हैं कि इस साल नहीं आएंगे तो we feel very rueful कि आप नहीं आ रहे. Is not it possible कि आप यहाँ रहें और कभी अमेरिका जाएं? जैसे आप वहाँ रहते हो, कभी यहाँ आते हो. आप यहाँ रहें, कभी वहाँ जाएं. Is it possible?
It is possible, but our lifestyle is such. We are misfits here.
Okay.
We are, at least I am. Sophia has done better than I am. I am literally a misfit here.
But we all miss you. We all miss you.
I always miss Sheikhpura. Me Sheikhpura can kanyanta inside Mohabbat. Even now, I love to come to Kashmir and spend time over here and things like that. Always like that. Always like that. Any chance I get, I come.
कोई मैसेज है जो भी पॉडकास्ट देख रहे हैं उन यंग डॉक्टर्स के लिए या
young children, I have one message. Decide what you want to do. As I said, I was 5 years old and I wanted to be a doctor. And it's not only when you become whatever you want to do. Nothing is unimportant. It's only what you want to do. And you want to do, follow your dream at any cost. अगर तो सानी जाए ऐसु तो इच्छा पता ही क्या इसका तो सकती है वो बुचुस ननवोर ते पोकपुन तो स्कूल गोमत मगर ड्रीम ओस एम ओस कि अच्छु पन्ने जिंदगी मस करुन के we never cared कि ननवोर च पकान हो च गसान ड्रीम ओस अच्छु पुत का मातुन इथे कंट्री ड्रीम ambition बनाओ doesn't matter how small or big it is have an ambition. Your random life is important. Although at this time you may not understand what I'm saying, but make sure you start thinking what you want to do in your life. Don't, your parents should not make your life and make your career. You should know what you want to be and work for that. Ambition ambition shouldn't be ambition is mehnat karein. Unrelented मेहनत करें अदु छ ambition पूरा गसा खाली ambition से छुन के मगर ambition आसन छु वारिया जरूरी तम से life regulate गसा. Look at my other nephews and all that. They have followed that. They wanted to do. They worked hard for that and all that. It's very important कि right now this is the time you should know what you want to be in your life and work for it. And work for it. You are lucky because I don't even have 1/4 of the facilities what you have. I have nothing. I don't want to say what I not had it. You will be surprised. Walking 7 miles a day, barefoot sometimes. And I have proof to that. It created ulcers on my feet. It was so bad because we didn't have facilities. But we never relented on that. We knew where we had to go. These things are unimportant. And thank God, खुदा से मर्जी आसा मगर खुदा शुबना मतलब संगीत वजूदात क्या बुकार हुई कि खुदा शुबना मेहनत करियो. बच्चा आसा तो शु lucky parents शु facilities show. I say, if you don't make best of it, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
Because metric तो ऐसा ना है मागम तात्म ऐसे batchmates तिमो निया काम मतलब हीरालाल वगैरह या
Mes batchmates के unfortunately तिमन युजन ऐसे top class student होस ये हमेशा first division युवान होस तुम सोचना अब्दुल अहद so it's Hans book
अच्छा
दाखोस तुम से ब्या हीरालाल सोच मकामी तो बेओसुस ब we were at the top of the class which was not praise करा पानस के it is recorded Abdullah was हमेशा first यवान
अच्छा
second position खतरा हीरालाल से मैं आसान लड़े was so यवान was भी यवान but the problem is that also chori chupi we used to compete with each other. We were very close friends, but at the same time we were competing with each other.
Healthy competition. Okay.
And we were very popular with our teachers also because they really created who we were and we were working hard and all that. So vintage esteemed teacher they're very proud of us what we achieved in our life. So I think I just neglected to talk about some people who have helped me to who I am, particularly my in-laws.
Okay.
My brother-in-laws. I don't want to say these things, but I'm so indebted to them, how they helped me to go where I was, never objected to it's unbelievable. I would want to talk about it because if I talk, it belittles what they done for me, so I was lucky.
जो आपने इतना बड़ा सफर तय किया और अभी यू आर माशाल्लाह यू आर सेटिस्फाइड विद योर कैरियर एंड विद योर फैमिली ये तभी मुमकिन हुआ क्योंकि आपके पेरेंट्स थे उस वक्त जब आप यहाँ से निकल गए तभी यहाँ मुमकिन हुआ जब यहाँ की रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी यहाँ के सिबलिंग्स ने दे कैरीड इट ऑन एंड यू आर फ्री टू वर्क देयर यू आर फ्री टू गो एनीवेयर तो क्या सिबलिंग्स है आपकी यहाँ एंड माशाल्लाह क्या उनका स्टेटस है अभी इधर
See, my siblings, I would have liked them all to be doctors, so, but that's a wishful thinking. It's an individualized thing. So, in responsibility, as in parents' responsibility is to make sure they get education. We do not, do any. We do not hold back anything. Just make sure they get educated. But pacha panis te asan chu. Agar ko sa mehnat kari kya kari, so chu variable asan. Accordingly, yisa मैं sibling yisa te panis takat os या interest os तमे हिसाब करते मो मेहनत तो पाई guys settle pan.
Okay, they are all settled.
They are
you are
all settled
satisfied
and
with
independent.
them. They are
I am
independently satisfied. Do they realize that there is some contribution that you have just exerted for them? Do they realize it while you come here? How come they receive you? And
Well, contribution shouldn't zaruri asan. That is not the family. The family is important. They received me all the love and all that.
Okay.
If it was not that, I would not come here.
Okay.
So it's simple as that. And you want to boy
on one hand, you were having a big family over here. They took care of the goings over here.
Right.
Your parents, your other siblings, your sisters, their marriage and all the things. And you just set a responsibility for your brother and he carried it on. So you are satisfied what you are finding here, what you are seeing
absolutely.
here.
More
Absolutely
than.
satisfied. They are here always here to welcome.
Yes.
And I myself, I will be there. I will be most jubilant if you just opt to stay here.
Right. So that's what Khuda Islamat, who knows what will happen, but I always feel good. I always looking forward to come visit you.
डॉक्टर साहब हमारे पॉडकास्ट में आ गए इस प्लेटफॉर्म पर इस निशस्तगाह पर ये हमारे लिए इट इज ए मैटर ऑफ ऑनर फॉर वी ऑल फॉर दिस प्लेटफॉर्म क्योंकि आपने वहाँ से आई हैव बीन वेटिंग फॉर योर अराइवल सिंस आई जस्ट आपके साथ वो 1 साल पहले मैंने फिक्स किया कि आप कब आ रहे हो आई वाज ईगरली वेटिंग फॉर दिस मोमेंट कि आप कब आ रहे हो आप यहाँ आए आपने हमारे लिए इज्जत अफजाई और हौसला अफजाई के लिए एक बेहतरीन इट विल जस्ट एक्सेलरेट आवर गोइंग्स हाउ डू फील व्हाइल बीइंग ऑन दिस पॉडकास्ट क्या कैसा लग रहा है आपको पॉडकास्ट में मैंने लाया आप आए यहाँ आपके कुछ तासरात comments regarding this activity I am carrying.
Well, activity I carried, I think you're doing a great job. I think it is good for the future generation, and they know from us and you what you're doing and all that. You should keep it up, and I am really proud of you. Honestly, I mean to say that you're doing this.
नेक दुआओं में याद रखें, नेक दुआओं में याद रखें, नेक दुआओं में याद रखें और जहाँ भी हमारी मतलब कहीं भी जाएंगे आप तो आपका ये पॉडकास्ट जो है it will now be uploaded and every kid of ours will watch your hardships and it will you will definitely be an inspiration for them all. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be part of your program.
Share, like, and subscribe to Let's Bridge the Gap.